I wanted to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that I see women make when it comes to dating and relationships. And that is this idea of giving up before you even started. So, as a dating coach, whenever women come to me and they say, "Hey, I want to find the right partner. I'm looking for a healthy relationship. I want to break my past of having toxic relationships." I always ask, "What have you tried in the past in order to find this partner?" And I get things like, "Well, I'm Christian and I went to church trying to find the right partner and that didn't work for me." Or, "I'm Jewish. I went to synagogue and that didn't work for me." Or, I get things like, "Well, I tried the online dating thing, but that didn't work for me." We have this tendency to live in a very microwave society. So people start to believe that if something doesn't work instantly for them, then it doesn't work at all. And there are so many problems with this. Just logically think about all the things that you've done from birth up until now. You could not skate the very first time that you put on a pair of skates. You could not ride a bike the very first time that you hopped onto a bike. Even when it comes to school, the whole purpose of college is to give you a few years to learn how to do something. And internships, starting off in entry level jobs, is to give you, the experience that you need to do something well. So dating and relationships are no different. Oftentimes I work with women who have a hard time with setting boundaries. So there becomes this whole thing of, "Well, I tried setting boundaries with my family and with my friends before, but it didn't work. They just stepped over those boundaries anyways. They just didn't listen. They didn't take me seriously." That's where practice comes in. That's where repeating the boundary comes in. That is where having consequences come in. So if someone doesn't respect that you don't want to talk about a certain topic, then you stop having conversations with them. If someone doesn't respect the fact that you need personal space, then you deal with them less. You have to set those consequences and enforce them. And that takes time and that takes practice. When it comes to relationships, I always laugh when I hear a woman say, "I tried online dating and it didn't work." Because when I follow up and ask how long did they try online dating, oftentimes the answer that I get is something like a few weeks or a month. I literally went on online dates with more than 50 guys before before I stopped doing the online dating thing. And the only reason why I stopped doing the online dating thing was because the man who became my husband, I ended up meeting him in person. But even with that, I am so grateful for the time that I spent dating online because, one, I know it works. Stanford University found last year that 40% of current couples in the United States have met their partners online, whether that's an online dating site, online dating app, or social media, Facebook, Instagram, you get the idea. So I know it works. And also, I learned so much about myself during those experiences. So, yes, I ended up meeting my husband in person, but my experience online dating is what helped me learn discernment, what helped me learn how to quickly gather the information that I needed to know whether or not someone was going to be compatible with me or not. That experience taught me how to let someone down gently when it wasn't a match. That experience taught me how to be patient. That experience helped me learn what it was that I wanted and what I didn't want in a partner. So, oftentimes we have this tendency to give up and throw in the towel on certain things, but we're not ready to do the work. And here's the thing: anything that you want in life requires work. Any good thing that you want in life requires work. If you want to have a successful business, you can't just say you have a business and be like, "Okay, I have one, and now I'm going to sit back and do absolutely nothing." You know, if you want to get healthier, that requires that you eat healthier, that requires that you exercise. And let's be real, No normal person, because I'm going to say no normal person, is going to choose broccoli over chocolate cake. Like, that typically doesn't happen. So it requires some work to reach that goal, to be healthier, whether that is to feel better about yourself, to lose weight, whatever. And again, relationships are no different. If you are tired of family members treating you poorly, that requires boundaries. Setting boundaries takes practice. If you are tired of attracting trash relationships, that also requires boundaries. And it requires discernment, which discernment requires practice. You know, I always hear people say that women's intuition is a thing, and it totally is a thing. Women have a great sense of intuition, and men have some of that as well, because intuition is part of feminine energy. Men have some feminine energy, but of course, women tend to rock that thing. The thing is, though, although our intuition is part of us and is innate within us, actually learning how to listen to it is a completely different story. It takes some time to learn how to listen to your intuition. It takes some time to learn how to take appropriate action after you've, listened and you've heard that voice say, you know what, give this guy a second day. Or, you know what, I know he sounds great on paper, but something ain't right about him. It takes time to like really hear that voice and then to know how to act on it. So when it comes to relationships, if you come to me and say, I tried such and such and it didn't work for me, I'm going to call you out on that. Cheryl, I will pray for you on that. But I'm going to call you out on that, because if you try something for a week, or if you try something for like a month even, you haven't really tried. If you think that the first day that you go out and start a new job, you're going to be perfect at it, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You think the first day that you start a business, you're going to make $1 million, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you think that you set a goal to lose weight and that next week you're going to be down 50 pounds, you have set yourself up for failure. And if you think that just because you want a healthy relationship, you are going to automatically have one, you are setting yourself up for failure. The whole dating process is a learning process about other people, about you, about your communication skills. And then once you get into a relationship, even I made the mistake of thinking that when I got married, because my husband and I had been together for 3 years before we got married, that we were going to be solid. We were going to be absolutely good because we knew each other so well, right? And even after that, we got married for the first time. We were living together, and there was so much about him that I had to learn, and that he had to learn about me. And we had to learn each other's needs even more, about personal space. We had to learn new boundaries about each other since it was our first time living together. So, that requires constant work and communication. I wouldn't trade that for anything. My husband is totally worth that. But anything that is worth having is also worth working on. It's also worth maintaining. As Sheba saying, I've been with my boyfriend for 6 months and I've learned the work is harder once you find them. It absolutely is true. And, that's one of those things, like, I have clients who come to me all the time and they're like, I'm just sick and tired of being single. I'm so over this. And, I just want things to be easier. I want to find my partner and everything's going to be great. I love having my husband. I love waking up to him every day. I truly believe that God has certain qualities in him that I didn't know that I should be praying for. That being said, we have a good relationship because we intend to have a good relationship. We're intentional about it. So when you're intentional about something and you're willing to put in the work, then you're able to have the things that you want. And when you're intentional, you're willing to stick things out. A good example that I can think of is that my husband and I regularly have date nights now. And when the whole idea of having a date night came up, I thought that was a waste of time, honestly. I was like, we live together. Why do we need to have date nights? I see you every day. And it wasn't until we gave that a shot, like really being intentional about it, that you start to realize things do get busy. You go through periods where you have 50 million different things going on. And if you don't set aside that time, it just doesn't happen. Like, if you don't set aside that time, date night becomes the two of you being exhausted at the end of the day, and you go to bed. So, I just wanted to come and remind you that love takes work. So, if you need help with that work, then that's what a therapist is for. That is what a coach like me is for. Slide into my DMs, let me know. I'm more than happy to work with you on that. But just know that if you want something, then you have to be willing to put in the effort. One of the best quotes that I ever got was, if you want to know somebody's priorities, then you only need to look at two things: their wallet and their calendar. So if you are not investing either, preferably both time and money, but if you're not investing either time or money into the things that you want, then it's not really a priority for you. If you're not taking the time to either A, have a therapist, and I believe everyone should see a therapist at some point in their life. B, have a coach. C, read books, listen to podcasts, get mentors. Make sure that the people that you're getting advice from know what the heck they're talking about. I could go on a whole rant about why you need to stop taking relationship advice from your single friends, but we'll save that for another live. But yes, if you are not investing the time, money, effort, if you're not making some investment in improving, and if you're not willing to stick things out, so that doesn't mean that you pick up one book and call it a day. It means that you read multiple books, or that you work with multiple people. You do what it takes to get what it is that you want. Then you're not really committed.